So, Joanna Macy, a Buddhist scholar, author, environmental activist, writes, "The great open secret of gratitude is that it's not dependent on external circumstances. It's like a setting or channel that we can switch to at any moment, no matter what's going on around us. We have received an inestimable gift," she writes, "to be alive in this beautiful, self-organizing universe, to participate in the dance of life with senses to perceive it, lungs to breathe it, organs that draw nourishment from it, is a wonder beyond words. It is an extraordinary privilege to be accorded a human life with self-reflexive consciousness that brings awareness of our own actions and the ability to make choices. It lets us choose to take part in the healing of our world." I think gratitude is one of those things that we all just know through our experience how powerful it is in shifting our our mindset, our mood, that if we're in a dark space and something happens that engenders gratitude in us, that it automatically transforms us into a lighter space. Um, and of course, science is always looking to explain that which we've known for centuries and thousands of years. And in this case, science tells us that when we express or receive gratitude, our brain releases dopamine and serotonin, the two crucial neurotransmitters responsible for emotions and the famous feel-good hormones. So it literally does make us happy to feel gratitude, and science has proven it. In addition to showing that it makes us healthier and have greater well-being. And so by consciously practicing gratitude every day, we can help these neural pathways strengthen themselves and ultimately create a permanent, grateful, and positive nature within ourselves. Kind of like creating a default way of seeing the world. But not surprisingly, I'm not going to talk about gratitude from the scientific perspective, but from a Dharma perspective. Specifically, I want to talk about gratitude as an antidote to the three poisons: greed, hatred, and delusion. So a couple of weeks ago, I talked about how the three characteristics, impermanence, unsatisfactoriness, and non-self, give rise to these three kilesas or poisons. Basically, when we don't fully understand, embrace, accept the truth of these fundamental, foundational aspects of life, that everything changes, that nothing is lasting and satisfactory, that there's no fixed, real sense of a self, we spend our lives fighting against them. These are three kind of unsettling concepts that are nevertheless the truth of how things are. And because it basically means that we don't have control over anything, which we don't like and we're afraid of, we fight against it. We try to hold on to that which is fleeting, which is greed. We try to push away that which is uncomfortable, aversion. And we try to imagine ourselves to be this kind of autonomous, governable, solid self, which is delusion. So, of course, all these strategies try to avoid the pain and fear and instability in the world, and instead they just create more suffering. So, greed has a job, and its job is to tell us that if we have more, if we grasp, if we hold on, if we strive, if we achieve, if we become, then we're somehow protected from the reality that we're ultimately going to lose everything. And so, maybe on a more psychological level, if we feel worthless, we might believe that attaining and gaining this or that may make us feel special or important or worthy. Or if we tend to feel small and weak, the fruits of our greed, the achievement, the accomplishment, the attainment might seem to bestow us with this false sense of strength and grandeur. And of course, none of that actually works, which is why the cycle of greed is endless and why it only exacerbates the suffering that it seeks to mask. But whatever drives us toward greed, what is clear is that there's an underlying belief of lack, be it in ourselves or in the world, if only because nothing lasts, as abundant as the world is, we can't actually hold on to any of it. And so we might feel this sense of lack. But when we stop and appreciate what we have and really take in all the miracles of the world, all the goodness, and for some of us who are more privileged, all the plenitude and abundance that's actually here, the clean water, the healthy food, never, going a day without. For those of us who have that luxury, if you really stop and take that in, it cuts right through the yearning for more, that tendency to need more and more and more. You just stop and you really pause and you recognize how much we have. Then it seems ridiculous to get caught in the cycle of needing more. Gratitude sends the message, I'm already blessed with so much. And it invokes feelings of contentment with what one has. When we really take in how much we have to be thankful for, even just this precious gift of human birth, this breath, this new day, another day of the sun has risen. The fact that everything that is here today may be gone tomorrow ceases to be a problem. In part because tomorrow, if we're lucky enough to be around for it, will be another blessed day of human life, of breath, of sunshine, or rain, or whatever gifts it brings. Tomorrow may not give us everything that we're wanting, but it gives us so much. It gives us our consciousness, which is enough to be grateful for. And when you fully step into the miracle of this moment, everything that it takes to make this body do what it does and to make this life work the way it does, it's such a miracle. And when you pause and you really take that in, there ceases to be worry about what isn't. So in a sense, gratitude is in itself a mindfulness practice because it immerses us fully in the here and now with a sense of wonder. And when we're in that space that Jack Kornfield calls loving awareness, right? That's the space that we're in when we're appreciating that space of loving awareness. Really, all the poisons fall away, all of them. And, it's easy to see how appreciating what you have particularly staves off the tendency to crave more. I remember like maybe 20 years ago, while I was practicing, this truth came to me in the form of this sentence. The phrase was, happiness is not having everything you want, but wanting everything you have. And, this speaks to both the non-greed and the gratitude at once. And gratitude also countervails aversion. If you're dissatisfied with life or with yourself, which is the classic, as an aversive type, I know that that's kind of the underlying kind of flavor of aversion, is this kind of dissatisfaction. Or, or if you have a lot of fear and you spend a lot of your energy pushing back against the world as a protection against fear, or if you have pain, physical or emotional pain, you might be pushing against the pain. Gratitude dissolves that tendency to push away. And what can be a better way to transform a sense of discontent or anger than to feel the contentment that gratitude embodies? When you send yourself the signal that things are good, that the world is benevolent and taking care of you, it's hard to sustain fear and anger. Like, imagine being angry with somebody and then they show you this incredible kindness or do something for you that you genuinely need and appreciate. Is it easy to stay angry with them? It's you can't hold both aversion and gratitude simultaneously. When we focus on what we appreciate, we transform the heart that suffers into a heart that opens and embraces. Because really, gratitude at its core is taking in, receiving what's good. And so you can't energetically be receiving and be pushing away. You can't be grateful and take in and be aversive and push away. So gratitude blocks and transforms aversion. And it's also the perfect remedy for being caught in the painful delusion of there being a separate and isolated self. I mean, we don't recognize how much of our suffering comes from this mistaken belief that we're alone, that we're this entity that lives like an island unto ourselves, rather than being, a city and a continent, a wave in an ocean. There's this guy, Jeff Wilson, who is the minister in the Hangguanji Ha tradition of Shin Buddhism, which is part of the Pure Land tradition, which is actually Bettina's first foray into Buddhism. And from the point of Jeff Wilson is also a professor and a scholar, and he writes this. From the point of view of the Dharma, we can see that each being exists within an inconceivable network of support from all things. I'm going to say that again. Each being exists within an inconceivable network of support from all things. Whether it's the attainment of Buddhahood or the simple act of drawing a breath, our every action is assisted by forces beyond the ego self. As we become aware of our interconnectedness, we gain some perspective of our limitations. Accomplishments we counted as our own successes turn out to be due to the myriad benefits received from others. Pulling on our bootstraps, we discovered that someone else made the boots and straps and fed and nurtured us until we were ready to pull. Our own efforts are imperfect and cannot succeed unless countless others are involved. This awareness gives rise to a sense of humility about our limitations and patience in the face of others' imperfections. It also cultivates a sense of humor about our shortcomings and those of others. When we are aware of our interconnectedness, he says, we are aware of how power beyond self is always nurturing and supporting us. Naturally, thankfulness wells up inside us as we awaken to this ever-present gift. Practicing simply giving thanks for all we have received is a small shift in one's perspective, which, when pursued, can be transformative. So this sect of Buddhism, Shin Buddhism, that's their main practice, is practicing gratitude. And what's interesting to me, and Bettina and I often talk about this, that the Buddha didn't talk a whole lot about gratitude. Bettina says it should have been the fifth Brahma Vihara, and I say it should be among the 10 paramis, the 10 perfections that you need to achieve Buddhahood. But, the Buddha did, as you probably know, emphasize generosity a lot. It was his first teaching. So I wonder if perhaps because he spoke so much about generosity and kindness, that maybe in his culture, gratitude was like just a given, like the inevitable byproduct of all the kindness, such that it didn't really need to be specifically taught. He did, however, link those two things together in one sutta where he said, these two people are hard to find in the world. Which two? The one who is first to do a kindness and the one who is grateful and thankful for a kindness done. So in saying that kind and grateful people are rare, the Buddha isn't stating some harsh truth about the human race. He's advising us to treasure these people and these qualities when we find them. And more importantly, I think, showing us the equal importance of not only being kind, but of being grateful when someone is kind, and how these two virtues get cultivated together. So how do we cultivate gratitude? There are a lot of ways, and maybe later we can talk about some of the ways that you cultivate gratitude or would like to cultivate gratitude. Just a few that come to my mind are maintaining a gratitude journal, complimenting others, appreciating your own goodness or your own good fortune, being sure to share your appreciation of others when they are kind or generous. Before each meal, you can take time to reflect on the multitude of beings that made your food possible. And especially if you eat animal products, to the lives that were sacrificed or enslaved for your nourishment. We can, and in a little while will, practice being grateful for each breath. As author Robert Brault says, enjoy the little things, for one day you may look back and realize they were the big things. I think that's a really nice gratitude practice, to not think of anything as too small to be grateful for. I know that some people struggle with gratitude in the same way they might struggle with joy. And they might think, when there's so much suffering in the world, and there's so much to be upset about, doesn't it feel like denial to focus on what's good and to be appreciative when so many people have so little? But does not appreciating what you have make anybody else's lack any better? Does it make anybody else's suffering any better to not celebrate the gifts that you have? I feel, if anything, like those of us who are most fortunate, owe it to those who have less to not take for granted our good fortune and to really savor it and appreciate it and be grateful for it. A hungry person would bow down and kiss the earth if they were provided the incredible abundance that we had today just in our breakfast. And yet, how many of us were thankful for our breakfast? So instead of trying to be humble and maybe asking the question, who am I to be so grateful when there's so much suffering in the world? Maybe the better question is, who am I to not be? 20th century Jewish philosopher and Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel speaks to this, and he says, our goal should be to live life in radical amazement. Get up in the morning and look at the world in a way that takes nothing for granted. Everything is phenomenal. Everything is incredible. Never treat life casually. To be spiritual is to be amazed. I'm just going to end with one more quote by Rabbi Heschel. He said, never once in my life did I ask God for success or power or fame. I asked for wonder, and he gave it to me. Thank you. Bettina, would you like to lead us in some movement?
Sure. So we'll come to standing. And just take a moment to really ground yourself in your standing posture. Have your feet hip width apart, maybe your palms facing forward. Let your shoulders slightly draw back and down, and feel your heart center lifted. And just take in this precious human body in this moment, the breath that flows through it naturally. Take some deep breath in and out to really feel the aliveness of your body, to feel the aliveness of your mind in this moment. With a sense of appreciation for the breath, for the body, for the earth that you stand on, for all the organs that are functioning inside of you, for the measure of health that you have been given in this life, and for all the connections that you cherish in this life. Maybe imagine that there's a half smile at the heart center that's spreading, and the half smile that can form on your lips, just to greet the preciousness of life in this moment. And then just begin to naturally sway the body very gently from side to side, noticing the movement of the body and appreciating how the body can move with a sense of gratitude. Even in this very simple way, there's movement, there's aliveness in this body. And if you want to add this, you can, as you turn to one side, also lift the opposite heel and see if how you can extend from side to side just a little bit more. Just by this simple act of lifting the opposite heel as you twist to one side. And then, of course, do it on the other side as well. Maybe swing your arms a little bit more vigorously. Lift your heel a little bit more. Twist a little bit more around. Maybe letting the gaze follow from side to side. Adding some more aliveness into the body. And then very gently allow yourself to face forward again, relax the body. Take a moment to notice your knee and just feel into the backs of the knees and just make sure that there's a softness, that the knees are not locked. Just keeping a gentleness through the knees, through all the other joints as well. Take another deep in-breath and out-breath. And then bring your hands to your heart center. On an in-breath, let your arms come out to the side and then lift them all the way up, gazing up towards the ceiling, towards the sky. And then as you exhale, let your hands come down the midline, back down to the heart center. As you inhale, bring your arms out to the side, reaching up, feeling the nice lift in the heart as you gaze up. And then exhaling slowly back down. Inhaling, arms out to the side. Feel that nice expansion at the heart center, lifting the chin. And then exhale, draw the hands down the midline back to the heart. And we'll just do it a couple more times. Breathing in as your arms lift up. And then breathing out as your arms come back down. And again, inhale, reach up. Exhale, back to the heart center. Last one, inhaling up, stretching your heart up, stretching your hands up, and arms. And then exhale, bring everything back down. And then just let your arms relax again, the palms face forward. Maybe have the arms and hands a little bit wider out to the side. Keep your knees soft and just feel the tailbone stretching downwards, drawing the navel in towards the spine. Keeping your breath full and long and smooth. Maybe sensing the in-breath as you count, maybe to a count of 4. And sensing the out-breath as you count to a count of 4, to even out the breath, even out the inhale and the exhale. Really smoothing out the breath. And perhaps noticing how, as you smooth out the breath in this way, notice what effects that has on your mind. And then just relax the arms down by the side. Maybe take a look down towards the ground, towards your feet, and just widen your stance as you step your left foot forward a little ways, and then just bring your back foot out about 30 degrees. Bend into your front knee, so into your left knee, so that it aligns right over the ankle. And then place your hands at your hips and just make sure that the belly button faces forward. You can bring the hands out to the side again, just like did before, with the palms facing forward. And then really draw the shoulder blades together and back. Draw the shoulder blades together and back and let the shoulders relax down. Keep a nice lift through the heart center as if you're leading with the heart here. Breathe deeply into this heart opener. Maybe the chin lifts up a ways, if that's comfortable on your neck. And just keep breathing deeply and fully and smoothly. Couple more breaths here. And then as you exhale, place your hands onto your left thigh, bend into your left knee, and then gently step your right foot up to meet the left. Let your arms be facing by the sides, and then just walk backwards again. Take a moment just to take a centering breath in and out. And then this time we're going to step the other foot forward. So the right foot steps forward. And then just bring your left foot out about 30 degrees in back of you. Let your right knee bend so that it aligns right over the ankle. And then bring your hands to your waist and just move the belly button so that it faces straight forward towards the screen. And then again, bring your arms out to the side with the palms facing forward. Let your shoulders draw together and back as if you're squeezing an orange there in the back. And then just let the shoulders relax down and really stretch the heart center forward and breathe into this heart opener, perhaps slightly lifting the chin. Breathing in from the belly, through the ribs, all the way into the chest. And then exhaling chest, ribs, belly. We'll take 2 more breaths in this way. And then relax the arms, place your hands onto your right thigh, bend into the knee, and then bring your left foot forward again. Relax the arms by your sides. Maybe walk backwards so that you can be seen in the screen again. And just to close out the practice, close your eyes and just sensing into the body again, sensing the aliveness. Sensing the breath smooth and deep and full. And then very mindfully, following each step, make your way back to your seated posture, the way that we began. And we'll have Z lead us in a time of meditation now. So I'll turn it back over to them.
Let's just take a nice deep breath in through the nose and let it fall out of the mouth. And we'll do 2 more like that. Long, slow inhale through the nose and then falling out of the mouth. One more. Letting the eyes close if you practice that way. And feeling your buttocks sitting and releasing the weight of the buttocks into your seat. Feel your feet on the ground. Taking in the ways that the earth is supporting us. Gravity supporting us. We sit down on a chair, the floor, bed, and we can let go because we're supported. It's really quite wonderful. And many of us have cushioning that makes that support also comfortable. How nice. And perhaps we can take in without too much thinking all the beings that went into creating this seat. If you're in a chair that has wood, how many trees are you sitting on? Thank you, trees. If you have upholstery covered in cotton or wool or hemp or any material that's grown, the earth has provided you with that as well. And the beings that cultivated the plants that were transformed into fabric, even synthetic fabric, was made by countless beings. Thank you. If you're sitting in a place where you're not too hot and you're not too cold and you have clothing on that keeps you comfortable, we can call to mind all the beings that made possible this clothing. Thank you. If you're in a dwelling space that gives you shelter from the elements, I'm guessing you probably didn't build it all by yourself, or maybe not at all. Somebody drew the metal from the earth to make the nails. Somebody cut down the trees. Countless people participated in creating your home that you enjoy every day, thanks to their efforts. They are part of your life, these people, these beings, these plants, every day supporting you. We can feel our bodies feeling the bones in the body, the bones that allow us to sit here, that allow us to move, to basically live in human form. Some bones are stronger than others. Some bones are healthier, but we all have bones as a foundation for this human body. Thank you, bones. And we have blood that moves through us, without which we would not be able to live. Thank you, blood. Thank you to this heart that pumps the blood to all our organs, muscles, tissues. And for the spiritual heart that allows us this precious gift of love. Even when it's hurt, so blessed to have a heart. And these lungs and the breath that we breathe, Thank you to all the beings, the green beings that give us the oxygen that we need and the functioning of our lungs. It takes that in and gives back. Thank you. And all the organs in this body that sustain us and support us, that our help, and possibly at times in spite of our worst efforts, these organs continue to keep us alive as best they can. So fortunate. In the muscles, the connective tissue, the ligaments, the joints that allow us our movement. Recognizing that not everyone has movement. How blessed we are that we do. How much of life we get to enjoy because of this human form and the ways it works. The sight that we have, the sounds that we hear, the smells we take in, the tastes we enjoy, the capacity to touch and to feel and to perceive. It's quite wonderful. Such a rich experience, this human form. And this consciousness that knows that we're doing these things, that can self-reflect, that can make a choice, that can be generous and kind and caring and compassionate, and can be grateful. This preciousness of human birth. However you wake up in the morning, tired or well rested, sick or healthy, happy or grumpy, you get to wake up and enter another day of possibility. You get to experience wonder. so blessed. And much like metta practice, orienting the mind toward gratitude and appreciation for this human life can bring up some of the suffering that comes along with it. It's okay. Let it come. To practice gratitude does not mean that we don't also feel pain. To appreciate this body does not mean that we might not be sad over its limitations. But we remember to also be grateful for its gifts. So we'll sit silently for a while longer. Until you hear the sound of the bell. This is what I have to say to you. Sorry about that. Yeah.
Can you hear me, She?
I can't seem to unmute myself. You can hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, the screen says I'm muted. Okay. Well, this isn't exactly a graceful transition out of the sit, but
I
I'll
can
read
hear
the
you.
poem. Great. This is what I have to say to you. Savor the fruits of a lifetime of growth and evolution. I'm not suggesting that you rest on your laurels and declare yourself done, but it's time to bask in the sunlight of your soul and let that warmth reach deep inside your bones. The next stage of your life will rest upon a foundation of gratitude, grace, and celebration. Grace simply comes when it comes and isn't in your control. Gratitude can be nurtured and fertilized by paying attention to the gifts that come your way, saying thank you internally and externally, appreciating your life as often as you remember. Celebration means taking stock of how far you've come and letting delight and wonder lead the way. What you are giving birth to today is bigger than your usual perception of yourself. It's okay that you have no idea what's coming next. How could you? Just stay open and the universe will do the rest. Gratitude, grace, and celebration are the keys.